Sticking with baseball, we are approaching the end of All-Star voting, and we know there will be some Nationals on the All-Star team. But Neil, I'll throw this out to you, kind of a two-part question. Which Nationals do you see on the All-Star team? And we know about the 60 million votes that have been thrown out by Major League Baseball. Is it time to reconsider how the balloting is the process?
I mean, I think Drew Storm might have an opportunity to be on the team. I think Espinoza could sneak in at his position. But as far as the balloting, this isn't anything new, right? Derek Jeter didn't even play a game a couple years ago, and he led the league in balloting. And back when we had paper ballots, right? I mean, you were able to vote 35 times a season because that's how many games were left. Home games were left when the balloting process started. So, now that it's online, they had to have known that there was going to be some shenanigans. Look at what happened in the NHL with, when Latvia kind of they put a ton of ballots in the box and got a player. Got a player that probably shouldn't have been there. So I mean, this is what's going to happen when you're online, and this is part of it. But they canceled what 60 million ballots or something like that, and there's going to be the Royals on the roster, so we're going to have to live with it. I'm not really sure what they can do going forward to stop it.
Well, Chelsea, aside from Bryce, what other Nats should be on the All-Star game, or do you see on the team?
I think certainly Scherzer, probably Storin. I mean, until he had that 3-run outing the other day, he was leading every category there was. But I think, he still has that resume. I mean, I think, honestly, Yunel Escobar has a really good case. He's hitting 330, 340, and he's hit that way the whole time. He's on the ballot as a second baseman, which is, unfortunate because he doesn't play there. But do I think he'll make it? Probably not. Maybe, when they start kind of filling out the rosters. But he probably has as good a case as anybody, and he hasn't been tremendous defensively, but just such a steady hitter for them at the top of the lineup, and the stats, bear that out with him in comparison to the rest of the league.
Well, we should, Dan, I want to get to the All-Star balloting question for you, but is full disclosure, the Washington Post organization does not permit its reporters to vote for All-Star games, for Hall of Fame, anything, right? So I'm just curious.
I think in our professional capacity we can vote, but if I went and logged on my computer and voted for the All-Star game,
would you? Well, okay, then let me ask you this: should the process be revamped?
I'm kind of of two minds about this, because on the one hand, the baseball one, unlike these other sports, it actually matters in terms of the home field advantage, which is not totally an insignificant thing. And if fans are completely altering the dynamics of the game, because then once they're going to fill out the rest of the roster, they have to make sure they've got one guy from every team, and you only have so many slots left if there's like 8 guys from one team, starting. So I don't think it's an ideal situation, really. But on the other hand, I don't know what a better alternative would be, and I don't care enough to really think. Like, what are you going to do? I mean, unless you're going to just take fans out of it entirely.
But the games do matter, and that game does matter, and these fans aren't, putting the best players available. So it actually is hurting, I think, the American League a little bit in terms of the players that are being selected, because it's not the best players.
Well, Chelsea, is there an argument to be made, though, that it's also a fan-friendly game, and you want fans, those are the ones who are supporting the product? I mean, is there an argument to be made for that?
I mean, yeah, but again, like that point is, if you're going to make it count, which they decided they were going to make count, then can you really have Omar Infante starting at second base? I don't think so. And I don't know. Again, I don't know how you fix that. Do you put in some quantitative, prerequisite where you can't be the worst hitter in baseball? Yeah. But no write-in ballots. But I mean, something like that. But it's just like
when you talk about the fans, obviously the system is what it is, and I don't know a better system, but it's not like fans around the country are clamoring to see Omar Infante play second base. Like, this is obviously kind of a free.
I don't think the Royals fans even are.
Right,
I think they just feel obligated.
Who does?
Yeah.
Fans don't vote for the Hall of Fame, though. That's media and players. Maybe should it just be media and players that can vote for the All-Star representatives now that it counts?
But do they really see I mean, they're playing themselves. I mean, they don't really have as good of a pulse, I think, on what's happening around the league, especially in the other
like people getting excited to vote for the All-Star game. I mean, I remember doing it as a kid. We punch out the little things. It was kind of cool, and you don't want to really take that away from fans.
But that was a bygone era, is it? Now, does anyone go to the ballpark now?
No, they don't let it do it anymore. But when you talk about you can only do it 35 times and you could do it, I think that you could get a giant stack.
Right.
I remember
there were 35 opportunities, but you
could
get
those giant stacks, and so
I never did that personally.
I know. You're an honest guy, Neil. We know that.